Hi, good evening, all, and wishing you all a very happy new year. Thank you for tuning in today. It's been a special year for us, the last year, 2020, and very proud to tell the fact that through All India Runners Motivation, we have managed to hopefully inspire a lot of athletes or also get the introductions and interviews from many. Till date, we have done around 80 plus interviews. That includes six international athletes, includes eight Arjuna Award winners from India, and a lot of people who are actually members of the running community and have inspired many. Today's guest is a world class athlete, an athlete who has actually won two times medals in the World Half Marathon Championships. He has run everything from 1,500 meters to a full marathon. His best timings are amazing. Best timings in half marathon is 59.20, and in marathon he managed a great time of 2:06:55. It gives me great pleasure, pride, and privilege that I'm doing this first interview. And my guest is all the way from South Africa, who was actually giving us his time and his thoughts on running, and as well agreed to address the athletes in India. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Hendrick Ramaala, all the way from South Africa. Good evening,
Hey,
sir.
hello. Must I say good evening, Rajesh? Yeah, and good evening to all my Indian friends out there.
Thank you. I'm sure India holds a great place in your heart with your win in Bombay Marathon.
Yes, don't forget my first big marathon win was in Mumbai,
Okay,
2004. Yeah, so that's when I got my breakthrough, my first big win in marathon. It was a
wonderful. That
2:15. The time was not that important. It was a hot day. I ran 2:15:47, I remember. But
okay.
believe you me, I still remember every moment of that trip, every moment of that race. It was very powerful. It was my first trip to India, and it was just amazing.
That's nice. I'm sure there is a lot of connection, of India and South Africa. So the food in Bombay would not have been a big problem for you.
Ooh, it was tough. It was a bit. There's a lot chilly. The spices are very strong in Mumbai.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't swallow. I tried it, but it was very spicy. But anyway,
In
I had a good background from our town here. We have Mayfair, we have Ennerdale, where we have our Indian community. And
very
yeah,
nice.
sometimes we go there to Oriental Plaza here in Johannesburg to get a taste of India, Indian
That's
cuisine, and very beautiful, very nice.
wonderful. So we have got. I'm sure it is not. Is it as spicier as the bunny chow you have in your place?
I find ours a bit milder. The one I had first time in Mumbai was
Okay.
seriously serious. It bent my whole system. From the mouth, I tried to swallow. It was burning the whole until the stomach. It was like burning the stomach. Yeah, yeah, couldn't swallow. It was bad. It was hot.
Okay. Maybe that's the reason you won, because you're running really fast because of that.
I want to advise any runner to do that before a race.
Okay.
To run the risk of not finishing the race.
Or you might run really fast, right?
Run really fast to some place.
Wonderful. We have got a lot of guests who have tuned in all the way from all the parts of India. So we have got people, Rakesh Singh from the north of India, who's saying hello to you. We have
Yeah, hello,
got
hello.
Mr. Joshi, Dr. Joshi. Actually, he's a former runner from my place, from Bangalore. He's actually staying closer in a place
Yes.
called Mysore. He's saying hello. We have a friend. Her name is, I think, it's Crystal Austin, who is saying hello to you.
Yes.
Okay,
Hello.
so and we have got also Purnima Shetty, who is also saying that great to see international stars coming to our program. So we have got a good audience from all the different parts of India. And yeah, Crystal Austin is saying, I am from Suriname. So she is
Yes.
saying, hello to you. So it's great, that we have got people from all the parts wanting to, of India and and the world wanting to listen to you. So if you can just start by telling a bit about yourself, your childhood, and what games you played in your childhood.
Yeah. In short, I was born in a village outside a town in South Africa, northern part of South Africa. They used to call it Pietersburg. Now it's called Polokwane. You know, in South Africa, we like changing names of towns. So when I was growing up, it was Pietersburg. Now it's Polokwane. So I grew up there, but it was in a village, not in a town. So I'm a village man. So, and then I went to a Catholic school, and from the primary school and secondary school. So
Okay.
I went to to Catholic schools, and then yeah, I'm from a big family. There were 8 kids. She was nine before, but one passed away younger. So 8 kids when I was growing up, and so big family. And I have to say, my background. I'm very proud of my background. Big family, very a lot of laughter, a lot of love in the family, and from a village. Very proud of my upbringing, my parents, my uncles, the villagers, everybody. It takes a man it takes a village to raise a kid. So that's what we say here in South Africa. So it took my village to raise me, not just my parents, not just my family. So I'm very proud. I might be living in Johannesburg now, the big city, but my home is my home. My village is still my home. It's still
Okay,
very close to my heart.
that's nice. So I can
So
just
sorry,
imagine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I came to Joburg just for the study, not even
Okay.
for sports. Because initially when I was growing up, my passion was soccer, not athletics. Athletics is was just a new thing for me when I came to Johannesburg. So soccer was everything for us in the village.
Okay.
So when I was at school, my my dream was to be a soccer star and be famous and play for big clubs like Kaizer Chiefs in the big city of Johannesburg. And then also my other dream was to come and study in Johannesburg, the big city. So a dream of a village kid is to go to the city of lights. For us, it's a city of gold. So it's all the opportunities. So Johannesburg is still the city of gold. It's still the city of opportunities. When I was growing up, I was dreaming to come here, and now I'm here. And I have to say I'm thankful because I I made it in Johannesburg. It wasn't easy, but I finally made it.
Okay. Wonderful. I can imagine when you say that it takes a village to bring up a child. It's amazing that I'm sure when you actually go back to your village, everybody in the village would know that you have come, and they would come and say hello to you. As you're passing by to your house. So I think everybody in the village would say, "Hendrik, do you remember me? I used to carry you, or used to play at our house." And I'm sure that is a conversation you must be having when you visit the village.
Yeah, I'm still the kid of the village. The young ones are looking up to me, and most of you know I'm the first generation of guys who came to the big cities and attended university and finished law school, and so at least the younger kids uh, took me as their role model. I did sports. I I made sure I followed. I lived clean. You know, when you are from those places, you have to make sure you are a good example to the young ones, because
Okay.
the villages are, too much poverty in the villages, too much suffering. So when you get out, you need to be a good role model and show the kids that it's possible to get out and make it. And then you come back and you help your parents, you help your family, you help your communities, you empower them with education, you empower them with with skills, and you you give back. So
Okay.
that's when I was growing up. Once I came to the big city, that's what I always did. You go back, you tell them it's possible. You tell them you can make it. Just work hard. Yeah, follow your dream. Yeah,
Okay.
because I did. It was actually a coincidence. I mean, I didn't have anything. I came to Joburg with nothing in my pocket. I had no money. It was a coincidence that I mean, it's by pure luck that I made it.
Okay.
Actually, made it from the village to the big city, and then still followed my dreams, and then still made it.
Very good. That's such a wonderful thing to hear. Of someone able to follow their dreams and achieve their goals. And now, when you are actually looking back and you're telling yourself that, okay, when you made it, it's such a great story. You said actually you followed football as as a youngster. Were there any superstars, any footballers you really loved and idolized during that time?
Yeah, they are mostly South African players. They are not we used to talk Ace in Solomwe. We used to talk Jomo Sono. Internationally, I think we had Pele, Maradonas, and all those big names of the early 90s. You know, the
Okay.
late 80s. Those were the guys we were looking upon. But
Okay.
most of the stars are local stars, so people out there won't know them.
Yeah.
But they
I
were, they
mean,
were good. They
we were
were very
watching.
good. I think they grew up in the era where South Africa was not allowed to play
Play.
internationally,
Okay.
so the world has never seen them. But I
Okay.
can tell you, they could they could compete with this new generation, with these big stars international. They just never got the chance. That's why my generation were very privileged. We see ourselves as privileged because we were the first ones after Mr. Nelson Mandela came into power, and then we are allowed to compete internationally. As you remember, South Africa was closed,
Yeah.
was not allowed to compete. We were some of the first group to go out there and compete.
Okay.
So, yeah, very lucky.
Very nice. I mean, yeah, I'm sure because when we saw the World Cup being hosted in South Africa, that was, I think, probably one of the best World Cups, in this generation, which we could see, and we saw the love of South Africans towards soccer, and it is amazing to see. I think the stadiums were all full. You hardly had any empty stadiums. And yeah, your biggest import after the World Cup was that horn, which is called what, vuvuzela.
Yeah,
So,
Vuvuzela, yes.
so, so I think every child in India after that
Oh,
had that vuvuzela at home, playing. Yeah, we had to close our ears for that. So,
yeah,
so I think after the World Cup, vuvuzela became quite famous in India. So,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So you started running, in your 20s, and I think when you were in university is when you started running, when you came to Joburg. Why so late? Because when I look at your achievements and I see that you started late and in your 20s, if you could have started earlier, maybe things would have been slightly more different. But so why so late is a question.
Yeah, like I said, before to come to the big city of Joburg, I played soccer. My dream was to be a soccer star. So I
Okay.
was working hard on my soccer. But the minute I arrived in Johannesburg, I saw I couldn't make it in soccer. The
Okay.
style of play, and I was just not gonna make it. I tried the university football club, but I was not the best there. The coaches were not interested that much.
Okay.
It was a bit tougher to make it. My style of play didn't impress the coaches this side, so
Oh,
I decided to change sport. And but also running for me was just a way of you know, releasing stress. After like 10 hours of studying, I'll go out and go for a run and come back refreshed.
okay.
So that was running for me. And then that was until I met students, runners, the guys
Okay.
who were running for the university club. And then they saw me, they invited me to come and join them, to join the club. They gave me a free membership. And then, I mean, I didn't even have good running shoes. I was not aware that you need good running shoes, a pair of Nikes or Adidas or whatever. You just take any other shoe and go for a run. But then that's when I started seeing the real running by joining those university students. But
Okay.
believe you me, a few months later, I was already beating them. So
Okay.
I think it was just that I was, you know, I grew up in a village. I was a bit tougher, so I was more competitive. Without
Okay.
even training hard, I was already leading the training group. I was already getting better and better. So that's how my running was.
Okay.
It was just fun, just to
Okay.
release stress.
Okay. And even though you never, you say that you came to running a little late, I'm sure your football training included a lot of running. So you would have, how many years did you play football? So all those years would have also included running, right?
Yes, yeah, football or soccer, we call it soccer. It's all about the run. Yeah, we used to go for road works, like going to run like a 5 kilometers, and then long warm ups, and then in the village also, you know, we don't drive around, we don't cycle around, we walk around. You
Okay.
walk to everywhere to fetch water, to fetch wood, to look after the cows and the goats. You know, you walk everywhere. So I think I got that kind of solid fitness, you know, base fitness from
Yeah.
all those activities, walking, running around, and like yeah, I said, training for soccer.
Okay. How many hours you used to play soccer when you were, before you came to Joburg?
So, I mean, it will depend. It depended. If it was like holidays, we'll play like nearly the whole hours and hours. And then if it was time for schooling, we'll play just after school.
Okay.
So we used to spend hours and hours. We will play until our parents will come and tell us, "Hey, it's time to go look at the cows and the goats." So yeah, those were the days. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Most
can
of our
imagine
life
that.
we spent out.
Where the parents are coming beside the ground and saying, "Hey, Hendrick, please, you need some do some work at home. Please come,
Yeah,
or
no,
lunch
very
is ready."
aggressive. Eh? Hey, hey, you look after my cows. You look after my goats. This soccer thing is not gonna give you milk, you know.
So, I mean, even though you were late in running, with all those running you did for football and also walking and doing a lot of things at your village, and I'm sure it helped to, and you are doing that for many years. I'm sure it helped to build your base as an athlete. So tell us something about your first race, first major race you participated. I think in the 1990s is when you actually started running. Tell us about your first race and how did you fare, and what did you learn from your first race?
My race is, you know, I decided, you know, because in here, I mean, when I started my running, I didn't know much about the competitions, so the races were actually decided by my university club mates. They will say, "Let's go to cross country. Let's go to the track. Let's go to the track and compete." So my that's why my career started in cross country, because we
Okay.
used to go to run cross country together, and then after cross country season, we'll go to the track. So that's I'm very lucky for that one, because I didn't start my running on the road. I started it on the cross country and on the track. So I managed to build my speed. I managed to build my endurance. So I had a good start to my career. But I used to be, in the middle bunch, not behind, not in front. Sometimes I used to find guys, finished like 2, 3 minutes before me. I
Okay.
was no good. I was just not making it.
Okay.
In the first months of my running.
Okay.
So I was told, you are not gonna win. You might want to, because I'm a winner by nature. I wanted to win, but I just didn't have the fitness, and I didn't understand how those other guys could beat me by so much. So I was told, no, you need to train hard. You need to get a training program. You need to start eating well. You need, all these stories from the other runners.
Okay.
Because I didn't have a coach, so I was just listening to all these stories. I used to
Okay.
spend hours talking to runners. So how do I improve? How do they train hard? But do what? And then they will take you for a long run, and then some will say, no, let's go to the track, and then they will kill you with speed.
Okay.
Some will take you to the hills, and then they finish you off on the hills. It was just a bit confusing. So my
Okay.
running was just trial and error. I learned the hard way. It was
Okay.
pain every time. To become
You,
good, I had to go through all that pain.
and it's amazing. I was talking to you earlier, and it's amazing that that you never had a coach in all your life, and you managed a great time of 2:06:55. We'll come to that timing later, but how did you actually then manage your trainings? You said you listened to all. Who were the people who were listening, whom you were listening to actually at that time?
Mostly we're just, we, not just myself. When I say we, the majority of the township runners and the village guys from villages, because we didn't have a clue. We didn't have, we didn't understand the sport. So we look up to the winners, the
Okay.
guys who were doing well at that period, at that moment. We'll go to them to ask for advices, to ask for training tips, and then later we'll ask for training programs, and then they will just tell us, Monday do this, Tuesday do this, Sunday do a long run, and then we have to investigate what they mean. And so we used to follow them around. I remember we used to, I mean, in a week, maybe if you meet like 4 or 5 good runners, you'll go and join them. Just to today you are joining this one, tomorrow you are joining another one, just to see what they were doing. You know,
Okay.
following them, trying to, because you want to copy what they are doing, thinking that by copying them, what they are doing, imitating what they're doing, you will win. And then you go to the next competition, and then you don't win, and then you are like, but what's going? Why is he winning? But I did what he was doing training. Why I'm not winning?
Okay. So, who were the people whom you were, at that time following and taking tips from? Who were the athletes, if you remember a few of them?
At that time, I didn't even know the top runners. But later, I happened to, after a year, I think I started. I met William Tolo. I met. He's also the past winner of New York. I met Matthews Mutara Deu. These are the South African runners.
Yeah.
People might not know them, but they were very good during their time. I
Okay.
met very good national team runners. I used to
Okay.
bump into them on the track or during races, and then I'll go and follow them, and then I'll ask them for advice. But then I didn't understand that you can't just start at the top,
Okay.
because a top runner, a successful runner, will tell you what he's doing. He won't tell you where he started. He will tell you about that program he's doing to win races. But I was
Okay.
not matured enough to do those kind of programs.
Okay.
They were too tough for me. Because
Okay.
as a runner, you need a foundation. You need to start at the bottom. You can,
Okay.
you can't just start at the top by copy or by doing what, say, Eliud Kipchoge, or what who
Kenny
Kenenisa
Bekele.
Bekele is doing.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have to. later in life, I saw the trick is to follow what they did when they were young, not what they are doing at the moment. Because when they are champions, you need to follow their history.
Okay.
So, but when I was young, I was just taking the program of the champions, trying hard to, and then I couldn't do some of the programs, and then I was getting frustrated, and then I started reading a lot about running.
Okay.
But I have to say, I didn't have a coach because we didn't have many coaches. In
Okay.
South Africa, we didn't have running. I was amateur, you know. It was just for fun, mostly for fun. So there were very few coaches.
Okay.
So if I could change things, I wish we had better coaches like the USA, like Europe. Maybe I could have met a good coach who was going to guide me well.
Yeah.
But we didn't have. I didn't know the coaches that time. So I ended up doing, it's called trial and error. So you try this thing, it doesn't work. You try another thing, it doesn't work. You try to mix the two, maybe it start working, and then you continue. That's how I learned my athletics, trial and
Okay.
error, and and following uh, other athletes training programs, and then I ended up finding my own program. That's when I started doing well. When I
Okay.
started having my own program, designing my own program.
How many years did it take for you to design that?
Yo, it didn't take me much. I started in '92. By '93, end of '92, I ran December of '92. I ran 15:04 for 5,000 meters,
Okay.
and then the following year, 1993, I had 14:36, and then '94 I had 4, 94 14:23,
Okay.
and then 1995 13:24. I cut a minute,
Okay.
and by '95 I was good enough to make the national team.
Yeah.
So I have to say it was very quick. But like I say, I had a hard background, so I could take the pain of running. It was not
Fine.
too much for me because of my background.
So it's amazing that within 5 years you actually hit the made to the national teams. That's an amazing achievement.
Yeah.
So how did it feel?
Sorry,
Because
but sorry.
yeah.
Before that, I got a lot of injuries. This
Okay.
trial and error story, you get a lot of injuries and burnouts and pain, and because you are trying all these things. But like I
Okay.
say, at least I managed. I managed to make the national team
Okay.
after a few years of trying.
Which injuries you had at that time when you were doing this trial and error?
I remember 1993. I tore my calf muscle.
Okay.
Yeah, it took longer to recover. It was
Okay.
torn, so I needed physio treatment.
Okay.
1994, I got shin splints and stress fractures in both legs.
Okay.
So I had to sit it out for, I think I spent like nearly 4 months out of running. Two
Okay.
stress fractures.
Two stress fractures.
So yeah, stress fractures. It's very bad. Can't run. I had
Okay.
to sit it out for 4 months.
I mean,
So 95
South
I came
Africa.
back, but somehow I managed to run fast. I don't know how. Maybe because I was well recovered.
Maybe because South Africa has the best sports medicine in the world. That's why you got a lot of champion doctors who are really good, and I think South
Yeah,
Africa
now
is
yes.
one of the best people when it comes to sports medicine.
Now yes, now yeah. But that time I didn't know them.
Okay.
Now we have all this. It's sad because now we have all these good sports people, good sports doctors, um, good coaches, and then we lost the runners now. We don't have that many quality runners now.
Yeah.
So
That
we, we got all the technology, all the knowledge now, everything, but the athletes are no longer there.
That was my question actually, because you set the national record for 10,000 meters, a time of 27:29:24 in 1999, and it has not been broken till now. So what do you think is the reason why it has not happened? 2 decades, almost, I mean, more than 2 decades or 20 years, the record is there. Why has it not been broken?
I've always told my people that actually that record is the softest,
Okay.
but then it's the one which lasted longer. I don't understand, which means there's something wrong with our system. It
Okay.
means our athletes have gone are doing something wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when I ran that record, it was like a time trial for me. I ran
Okay.
it here at home in Port Elizabeth. I didn't even need to go to Europe to run that record.
Okay.
So I ran it as a kind of time trial. I ran it alone. I led the race. I won by a big gap. I was checking my watch. I was very fit. But then, amazingly, the record is still there. I
Okay.
think, I think, one of my athletes must break that record. That's my thing. Because as a
Any,
coach now, my dream is to get one of my guys to break it before
okay.
other guys do it.
Anyone in your opinion who might break the national record from South Africa?
Yeah, I have boys like Precious Mashele. I have boys like Maxime Shamato. I'm getting some good runners in my group, and they're younger. So I think one day we'll just go and into a smaller race and just attack the record, and
Okay.
then they will get it. I don't need it anymore. So it's old. It needs to be broken, and
Okay.
it will be an honor to get it, to get the record as an athlete and as a coach.
Yeah.
To, you know,
One
to
thing
have
I've
one of my
realized that
athletes to break it.
yeah, one thing I've realized that all the athletes, they always want their record to be broken. I mean, which is so nice. And as an athlete, nobody wants that to be remaining, forever. So I'm sure, that that will come true very soon.
Yeah, we're working hard on it. We're working hard on it. I'm training young boys. The other groups are training young boys. We said the records must fall. Eh?
Yeah.
Not just the marathon record must fall, the 10,000-meter record must fall, the 1,500 meters must fall, the 3,000 meters records must fall. They all must fall.
Okay. That's nice. You actually ran every race or every event possible in running, from 1,500 meters to a full marathon. Which one is your favorite, actually? Which do you think, out of all the things which you have ran, which one is your favorite?
Uh, it has to be the half marathon. The half marathon was just my event. I don't know why, but I was just too comfortable. I was very competitive. At one time in my life, I thought I could be the best in the world in that
Okay.
distance. I just couldn't let anybody beat me, just like that.
Yeah, and you were
The
the best in the world,
10,000 was
winning
a bit slower.
winning
The
two
10,000,
medals in the world championships, right? You were the best.
yeah, I tried. Paul Teckert was still the man. You remember Paul Teckert from Kenya?
Yeah.
He he was the man. So I used
Okay.
to chase him everywhere. But he had speed, he had agility, he had everything. It was very hard to beat him.
Okay.
But I managed to come second to him. So, like I say, I was very comfortable with the distance. I had the
Okay.
speed, I had the endurance, and then I had the heart to do it. The marathon was a bit longer for me, and then the 10-kilometer was a bit shorter. So the half was just ideal.
Okay.
It took me a while few years to get used to the marathon.
Okay.
It's very marathon is very tricky,
Okay. Why do you say
very
so?
very tricky. Yeah, it's not easy to get it right because you run out of blood sugar. You hit a wall somewhere. Once you arrive at 30 k's, you start struggling. But the half marathon, you can run fast from start to finish.
Okay. So from from a village, you came to the city, and you actually went to the national team, and you started running in the European running circuit. Can you just tell us a bit about your experience in the European running circuit? Where all did you run, and which are your favorite places to run?
I have to say I was lucky. When I was still younger, I went to the World Cross Country, first time in the UK, in Durham, Newcastle, in the
Yeah.
UK. And then I met all these big athletes, I met all these big managers, big agents. And then I was invited to, I was told it's better to join, to start running professionally. I was still a student that time. I was still a law
Okay.
student that time.
Yeah.
So, and then I decided immediately after finishing my studies, I need to try this running full time.
Okay.
And then when I finished in '96, I decided I packed my bags and went to stay in London so that I could be closer to the European competitions.
Okay.
And I have to say it was a very good decision. That time it was a bit risky because I didn't have anything. I didn't have any money. I was not working. I didn't have an income. So it it was a very risky decision. I didn't have a sponsor. So but I
Okay.
was lucky because my agent John Bycott, who stayed in London, invited me to his house. So we
Okay.
stayed at Crystal Palace Sports Center. He looked
Okay.
after us there, and then I stayed with Kenyans. That's why I started living with the Kenyans. That's where I was introduced to the Kenyan way, the
Okay.
Kenyan way of training, the Kenyan way of eating and sleeping and training hard, and eat, sleep, train hard, and eat, sleep, train hard. You know, that's where I was introduced to this kind of lifestyle, and then
Wonderful.
it worked. I We started attending all these big races all over Europe. We went to
Okay.
the US, we went to Asia, South America. We're full-time runners, so we live out of our briefcases. You carry your bag. I remember one time, was it 1998? I spent 9 months out of South Africa, just
Okay.
competing all over. I had 32 competitions that year,
Okay. Wonderful.
so that was a lot.
It's interesting that you're speaking about the Kenyan way. I'm going to just put you on a solo layout. Can you just explain to the audience the Kenyan way?
Yeah, the Kenyan way. We call it the Kenyan way because the Kenyans don't. We see Kenyans dominating athletics all over the world. Kenya is like a factory in Kenya, factory of producing athletes, good athletes. But you must be aware that those guys, they live for it. They sleep, they train hard, they everything they do is for their running. So they will wake up 6 in the morning, go for training, come back, eat, sleep, wake up midday, go for another run, and then come back, eat, sleep, evening, go another training. Sometimes they will train 3 times a day. And
Okay.
then in between they're napping, they're eating, and then evening, sleeping long. By 9 o'clock, people are in bed sleeping. And then they go to competitions, they win easy. They say train hard and win easy. Those are the Kenyans.
Wonderful. So, who were the people whom you were part of the group? Who were the athletes you were part of during that time from Kenya and also from your country?
Yeah, I had the honor of staying with a 2 times world champion in 5,000 meters, 1993 and 1995. 5,000 meters, Ishmael Kirui, very short but powerful. Smaller guy but very powerful. Matthew
Okay.
Derir, Olympic steeplechase champion from 1992. And William Mutol, also silver medalist in steeplechase at Olympics. I had a lot of Kenyans.
Okay.
I met John Ngugi in the house. John Ngugi, 5 times world
Yeah.
cross country champion. I used to, for me, he was like he's like a god of running. I used to follow him around. When first time I met him, tall, long, long legs. I used to follow him around the park when he was taking his walks. I was just intrigued. I wanted to see. Whenever he was eating, I was sitting there watching him. What is it that is it? Why is he so big? Why is he so
Okay.
strong? I followed him around. So those are the guys I met. I mean, I had the honor of staying with Paul Taggart in when we were going competitions, share a room. He was close to me, learn a lot from him. All those big
Yes.
names. Yeah,
Wonderful.
I mean, we had Haile Gebrselassie by that time. I didn't stay with him, but we met in competitions. Fida Baisa, Tesfaye Jifar, from all those big Ethiopians. It was good to stay in Europe and meet all these big, big champions and learn from them.
Okay.
You learn from everything, how they behave, how they eat, how they train, and how they think. You know, you talk to them. What do you think? What do you think about when you're running? Why are you not scared? Why are you breaking records? How can you just go and break records? What is in what do you, what, How do you prepare for them? So I
Okay.
had the privilege of being among those guys and learning from them. I'm very proud you know to have. I even visited their countries. I've been to Eldoret, Iten, Ngong in Nairobi. Been to Addis Ababa. I've been to Ntonto. That's up in 2,900 in above Addis Ababa, nearly altitude of 2,900. I've been to Yaya village,
Yes. Okay.
no, it's where Gebre Selassie, Haile Gebre Selassie camp is. He has this camp called Yaya village. Beautiful, high altitude. I've been to Kapsabat, Eldoret, 2,400 meters.
Okay.
So I've been there just to see how those guys lived. So
Okay.
I
If
learned a
there are
lot.
if there are actually, say, five things you have learned from them, which you managed to, which managed to help you in your running, what would those five things, would be from your associations with all the great athletes during your running circuit?
When I was coming out of the South Africa, I didn't know much in terms of how the sport, how sportsmen trained, how sportsmen behaved, how sportsmen lived. So I had first-hand information. Like I say, I shared rooms with those guys. I saw how important rest is. They will go for their run, they will eat, shower, and straight to bed. When they are tired, they will spend the whole day indoors, sleeping, making sure they recover. So
Okay.
recovery was very important, not just the hard training. So they train hard, but they also rest hard. Yeah,
Okay.
recovery is very important. And
Okay.
then the dinner, they prepare big dinners. Make sure they eat well. And then if it's Kenyans is a group. It's not about just one person. They they hunt us like lions.
Yeah.
They are pride of lions. Those are the Kenyans. They
Okay.
hunt in a group. They get energy from each other. They train as a group. They go to compete as group. They plan together. The group is very important. So they work together. They they make it together. So those are the things I learned from them.
Okay.
Like I say, we always sum it up as the Kenyan way. The Kenyan way.
That's nice. I mean, maybe you can write a book on that now, the Kenyan way.
I don't know. I don't know if they're expecting that. I think the Kenyans are expecting that. Eating ugali. For sure, your Indians guys will tell you, the ones who have visited Kenya, they will tell you about ugali, the meals, the
Yeah.
Kenyan staple food. Yeah,
Maybe
injera,
you
the
can have
ones who
a
have been to Ethiopia.
Kenyan runner's diet book, or Ethiopian runner's diet book. So,
Yeah,
so the record for the half marathon has been falling down consistently, and with current record holder all running at a speed of around 2 minutes and 72 seconds per kilometer. How does one run so fast for such long distance? Because you said half marathon was your favorite distance. You always did extremely well. How do you run so fast? This is amazing speed.
yeah. For half marathon, I have to say, is for me it was a bit possible. I could sustain. I could run at a sustained pace for that distance. We ran 59 during my time. That's 2000, and then 20 years later, guys are at 57. So they are running uh, nearly 2 minutes better. But we have to consider the shoe technology, the training methods, also the supplements. You know, mostly for marathon, I think it has to do with the shoes, the improvement in shoe technology, and the supplements they are having.
Yeah. Okay.
Because during my time, we were training very hard. We could do whatever, but that thing called hitting the wall. At 30 something, you start going dizzy. You just slow down naturally. But
Okay.
I think if we had the supplements, these new drinks, I think we're going to sustain the pace because
Okay.
you must check. If you watch Kipchoge, Eliud Kipchoge, when he was doing the sub 2, when he was going to do sub 2 hours, you must check what he was doing. They were giving him all those bottles. I don't know how many bottles he drank, but you saw every now and then they were giving these half full bottles, and he was squeezing everything into his mouth, going down, and then he could continue running. He was not even getting stitches. I don't know, because before you could drink something and then you get a stitch, but
Okay.
the supplements now are so good that people don't even get stitches. They just continue. I'm
What does the
amazed.
supplement have?
I mean, I'll mention. I know they are using Moten. I don't know. There's a Moten, but I think there's a lot of them out there. The new
Okay.
supplements. They, I know Moten because Kipchoge uses it. Then NN Group uses Moten. I guess you have heard about it.
Yeah.
Moten, yeah, and of course you have Nike technology. The sub 4%. The Vapor Flies, and then Adidas have their new one. They are doing very well now. So it's good for the new runners. And of course, training methods have improved.
Okay.
Athletes are more in camps, bigger groups, and bigger sponsorships for groups. And yeah, if you check, I will always mention Eliud Kipchoge because he's the main man. We all following what he's doing.
Yeah.
You must check his how his training group, the best of the best. So they are pushing each other.
Okay.
The best guys are training together, pushing each other, having NN group, having Nike as sponsors, well taken care of, getting massages. They have a house where they stay together and they work. It's work,
Okay.
work, work. And then they're getting rewarded well also. So running is more of a profession now than before. It was also a profession during my time, but like I say, with improvements in shoe technology, with improvements in the supplements and
Okay.
what do you call drink intake,
Okay.
and yeah,
Any
and
major changes in training methods you have seen from your times? Because you were at a time when there were hardly any sponsors, 1990s, and currently here in the 2020s. Any major changes in training, which if you had done at that time, you would have also got the better times.
like I say, let's look at Eliud Kipchoge, the training group. You have the former half marathon record holder, Jeffrey Kamorov. You have guys who can run 204. and then you have Elliot, and then you have a coach living in one house. You had Olympic champion from Uganda. All these big names gathered together under one roof in the best training ground, in the best training area,
Okay.
Eldoret Kapsabat, at altitude of over 2,400 meters, and then eating quality, having all these supplements from Motens and the best shoes, the best sponsors, masseurs, so you have to achieve. If you are in that kind of environment, there is the environment that, best coach, Patrick Sen. So you will get results. There's no other way. I mean, if
Okay.
you have the talent and you have that kind of environment and that kind of a structure, a professional setup, there's no way you have to achieve the result.
Okay.
It's a combination of talent. It's a combination of it's talent, it's resources, it's the will to do it, the coaching. Everything came together well, and the human fighting spirit. They've proven that if you get that kind of support and that kind of environment, you are bound to achieve. Maybe a lot of countries, as South Africa, as India, as Asia, as South America, we can learn from those kind of camps, those kind of setups.
It's a group which pushes you, actually.
Yeah, you can't do it alone.
Okay. Fine. We just come to about your marathon timings, and you had fantastic timing running a marathon. Best time was 2:06:55. But he never, and did extremely well in all the championships where you had actually ran. But he never translated into success for you in Olympics. And you have had 4 outings of Olympics. I just wanted to know why it never, worked for you well in Olympics.
Uh, like I said, I always tell people, marathon was always a monster for me. It's one of those distance I struggled with at the beginning of my marathon career. I just couldn't get it right. It took me years. I started in 2000. My first win was in 2004. And then after I got it right in Mumbai, I started thinking of, I thought I'll win in Athens, the Olympics in Athens. I took 5 months out. I left South Africa and I went to the Pyrenees in the border of Spain and France, in the Pyrenees mountain.
Yeah.
I based there for like 60 days, 2 months. I stayed in Europe for 5 months. So March, April, May, June, July, training with 60 days in altitude, working hard on that marathon goal of winning Olympic gold. I went to Athens very, very fit. And then I didn't even finish. Actually, that was one of the races I stopped when I was at my best.
Okay.
Yeah, I got injured during the race. I was just unlucky, I think. I guess it wasn't my destiny. Because few months later in New York, I won New York after a few months later, after
Oh.
failing in Athens. So, you want to win it, but it didn't happen. But I have to say,
Some.
I respect the marathon because it's very unpredictable. It always challenged me. I always worked hard on it, but marathon was always the winner. I won 2 in my career. The rest
Yeah.
I got beaten by marathon, not by the other athletes. I always believed that I could do better. I was
Yeah.
always beaten by the distance itself. Not I was not counting my competitors when I was racing.
Okay.
Yeah, I was beaten by the distance. It was
Okay.
hard.
Okay.
It was really, it will beat you marathon mentally and physically. Mainly when you fail, you go depressed. It beats you, it takes everything out of you. But believe for me, the 206.55, I always said this is a step. I didn't think I will retire with 206.55. I thought I would
Okay.
retire with the 204, and
Okay.
then I couldn't achieve that goal. So
But yet you said in an interview that you could have done better than 206.55.
I could have done.
What
I
made you
should
say
have
that?
done. I should have done better
Okay.
because
What would have been the best?
I still think I should have done a 204.
Okay, 204. Okay.
Yeah, at least a 204. But then
Okay.
I came out with a 206.55 after I mean, I can't go back and improve it anymore. So,
But you
but
said
I
you're not
tried.
retired, so there is still a chance,
I have
right?
to say I tried.
Yeah. No, because you say that you are never retired, you're still running, so there might be a chance that Hendrick might do it.
Yeah, hey, the body's finished. No, I don't have the speed anymore.
Okay.
I'm still running around over 100 kilometers, up to 120 kilometers a week, 115, 120 kilometers a week. I think it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, just wait until I'm 50. I'm hitting 50 in a year's time.
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah. Okay.
2022. I'm turning 50. So you might see me racing again.
Okay. That's nice. That's a
Yeah,
good age. Welcome to my club then. So
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
I'm
turned
looking
it.
forward to it.
So the Athens marathon, I mean, so the New York Marathon, which you won, after your Athens did not finish, was that you ran with a vengeance, to prove yourself that you could really win it? Was that race ran with that spirit?
Yeah, it was. I had to make it or break. For me, it was like, this is it. I can't work so hard and keep on failing. I have to make it. And then I have to say I was lucky on the day. I made it. And then from that time onwards, I started doing well in marathon. I started having that thing. I learned a lot. 2004 was my breakthrough year. I won Mumbai. I won New York. The following year, I came third in London, and then
I,
I came second in New York. So from then onwards, I started doing well in marathon.
yeah, I remember you telling me at the beginning of the interview that Bombay or Mumbai was the start of your or marathon, winning actually, which helped you and maybe gave you a belief that you could do better. So maybe we can thank Bombay for that.
True, my first win will always marathon win. It's Mumbai. Can't change
Okay.
that. I learned a lot,
Okay.
and like I say, it was a very good experience. It's, the Mumbai of that time and the Mumbai of now. I went back in 2013. I found big difference. Big
Yeah,
difference.
but
Mumbai
the route has changed.
2004 was
Yeah.
a different town.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, the
you
route has
like,
changed, so it's different.
yeah, it's improved a lot.
Yeah.
So even the race itself it has improved.
It's yeah,
The first
it's very
race
big.
was very challenging.
Okay.
It's crowded and lot of there were a lot of people, and it was just a party atmosphere. Now it's a
Okay.
professional race. Now it's nice race. But the
So,
first one was amazing.
something like comrades.
Kind of, yes. It was. I mean, I met Tendulkar, the cricket player. I met
Okay.
all these stars. Couldn't
Okay.
believe. I met all those some Bollywood people. I forgot the names, but
Okay.
I can't forget Sachin Tendulkar. He was there first Mumbai Marathon. All these stars were there. Mike
Okay.
Powell and there were a lot of people. It was nice to be part of that one. I have to say I was honored to be part of the first Mumbai Marathon, and then even went up to winning it. So it was just cherry on the cake for me.
Good. And you went to university which where even the famous comrades runner Bruce Fordyce also also came to the same university. You know, uh, How come he was never able to influence you to run the Comrades, because he was also part of the same university team like you.
Yeah, Bruce is a comrade legend here in South Africa. We all look up to him when it comes to comrades. And I have to say, when I was at university, my because I didn't know running much, my dream was to go to Olympics. When I started, I said I'll run these other things at home later. We are excited to go run overseas. The sad part, like I said about our athletes, the previous athletes, say Bruce Fordyce, Mark Blakes, all those people before, Musara Dew, and all those names, they couldn't compete
Yeah,
internationally.
yeah.
I think the world could have. These guys were going to do really, really well internationally. 1980, early 90s, that was the golden year of South African distance running. And
Okay,
the world couldn't see those guys. They were far much better than us.
okay,
They were the best running generation, distance running generation of South Africans was in the 80s, was in the early 90s.
and they could not come for Olympics.
I'm just lucky to have joined in the later stages. But those were the best guys. I wish the world could have seen those guys because I think the Kenyans were going to struggle. They were never going. The Kenyans were going to struggle to beat them. I'm telling you.
Okay,
Those guys were tough. Those guys were good.
okay,
So those were the Bruce Fordyce is coming from that era.
yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, he won. I mean, you know his story. 8 times comrade winner.
Yeah,
So
9 times.
nine. Sorry, nine. What am I saying? 9 times.
Yeah,
So
it's
those were the
amazing
guys.
to. It was also amazing for me to talk to him, and it's such a very nice and gentle person, and so down to
Yeah,
earth.
he's a master of
Yeah,
of ultra distancing here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now when you look at your time and nowadays, running has actually taken, it's doing much better, and you have this new cream of amateur runners, wanting to do really well. Maybe during your time, you didn't have many people running. Everybody was or running a distance. Everybody was interested in doing a small jog, but you got a lot of people of different ages, especially when they hit their 40s. They're trying to come up and take up running, but many of them want to achieve results very fast, and they want to start running at Olympic speeds, from the first month of training. Can you just give, what advice would you give to amateur runners who are taking up running and wanting to increase the speed? What advice would you give them as to how much time will it take for them to reach a good level of speed?
Yes. I have to say, with running, it's baby steps. Baby steps. I didn't do baby steps when I started. I got a lot of injuries. So if you want to be a good runner, you have to have a strong foundation. You have to do the mileage. You have to build the distance. You have to build the strength. You have to build the speed. But gradually, everything must be gradual. You can't rush it because if you rush it, you'll burn out. You'll get injured. So be patient. Get a good coach. Get a good coach who's going to guide you. I didn't get a coach, so I was not guided well. I ended up with two stress fractures and
Calf injury.
and and torn calf muscles, and I still achieved. But I'm just saying, in this day and era, there are good coaches out there. There are good literature. There are good books and good advices on internet and everywhere. You
Okay.
know, do it gradually, build slowly, and take good advice, and then you'll achieve. It's a very good sport. For me, run is a way of is a way of life. I wish I could have joined athletics earlier, but I might have joined it late. But for me, it's a way of life. It's not just sport. It's a way of life. I wake up in the morning, first thing, go for a run. That's my life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I start my day, with a run. So it's I love this sport too much. Yeah.
And how many
So
years do you think it takes for someone above 40 to achieve a time of, say, people want to run a marathon in, 2 hours, 30 minutes? How many years of base building and running would, in your opinion, it takes to reach to such a level?
I think you go injury free. At 40, you're still a very strong individual, and the advantage is that you are matured mentally and physically. So with good advice, we can follow a good program and achieve earlier. I'll say maybe 3 years. Give it 2, 3 years. I think 230 is not too fast. It's achievable.
Okay.
It's an achievable target. I think at 50 I can even put that as a target, and then I can chase it also.
Okay.
But I have the background. I'm just saying it's nice you said 230, not 220. The right target,
Yeah. Okay.
achievable target. It's a
Achievable target.
reasonable target. Yes.
Okay.
I think a lot of people can achieve that one with
Wonderful.
some solid training, some solid training, good resting, you know, recoveries, and good advice from coaching, and yeah, and good
Okay.
pacing. Good pacing is very important. That's why people like to run in. At Comrade, they will say they're running buses. Uh,
Yeah.
you see, yeah, you have to choose your bus where you have to go on the right bus. Bus is called pacing. You
Yeah.
must
The
choose your
pacing bus.
pace.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, then you're gonna get it right. They will take you there.
Okay.
Yes.
That's nice. And there was a question here from one of the participants out here is that is it safe to run on concrete roads? What's your idea on, or what's your take on on the place where you're running or the track
The,
where you're running?
the training. Uh,
Yeah, concrete
I,
roads.
I started.
Is it okay to run on concrete roads?
No, I'll say not until it's just a must. I know a lot of people, a lot of runners stay in the cities, and then they don't have access to soft grounds, to parks. I run in the park. I run at Zulik Park in Johannesburg. It's all grass,
Okay.
soft and well looked after. That's where I
Okay.
train. That's where I got my best training, and that's where I built my career. So I have to say I'm very lucky. Some people, don't have parks near their places, and then they end up running on concrete, which
Okay.
is very hard on your joints, on your hamstrings and calf muscles. If you can, if as an athlete, if you can, I know I know I know Kenyans have an advantage, Ethiopians have East Africans have an advantage on us because they train on gravel, they train on soft grounds, on that road. But a lot of countries don't have those because most of the runners are in the big cities. So it's a disadvantage to be in the big cities. I mean, big cities are famous for pollution, uh, crowded streets. It's just it's not conducive to training. But if you don't have choices, what can you do? You have to go onto those concrete. But if you have a choice, go on soft surfaces, go on gravel roads, go on the parks and train there.
Okay.
Mm.
Thanks for that. I just want to ask you about your foundation because you have got a foundation, Hendrick Ramaala Sports Foundation. Can you just tell us about the work you do through this foundation?
Yeah, we started the foundation when I started coaching, because when I
Okay.
started slowing down, and then the main aim was the main aim is to develop distance running, you know, to bring back our sport of distance running to its glorious days, like in the 80s. It's my dream. I want to see South Africa achieving what we have achieved in the 1980s. having the best runners, the best distance runners in the world. So we try to raise money. We're looking for funding, and then we bring kids to the town, to Joburg, and then because they have to be near the coach, I'm the coach, and then they need to come nearer to me. And Joburg, like I said, they can get best schooling, education, and we have best training grounds in our park. So, and then we can do the coaching. So that's what we do. We bring kids from the villages. We put them in a house. We make sure there's food, there is supplements, there is shoes, and
Okay.
then they can focus on education and running. That's what we are doing. We have tried it and it's working. We have guys like Precious Marshall. We have guys like that. We have had over 10 athletes who are achieving good results because of what we have raised, what we have invested in. You know, because of the foundation, we are invested in new talent. We are trying to get the best of the best to come here and train and become the best also.
Okay.
So we do talent identification out there. We scout, and then when they are good enough, we bring them to Johannesburg, and then we look after them, and we make sure that they get the opportunities we got ourselves when we were younger.
Okay.
I'm just trying to do what I did when I was younger, but
Okay.
funding it myself because I was never funded. So I'm trying to make it easier for the young kids from the villages and from the townships to not struggle like the previous, like our generation, because we struggled to make it. We don't want them to go through the same struggles. So we want them to achieve the goals without too much stress.
Okay.
So we look after them.
Wonderful. I mean, such a nice thing to give back to the sport which has given you so much. And I'm sure with your efforts, you will very well first see somebody breaking your record of 10,000 meters, and maybe and also a medal in Olympics and other world championships, just like you did.
Yeah, imagine if you can get an Olympic medalist. It's a
Yeah,
dream. It's a
yeah.
dream to one day get. We'll have one. We have already have one guy now qualifying for Olympics. Desmond Mokobo.
Okay,
So he's in the marathon team. He's ranked second in South Africa. He ran 2:09:13 in Valencia in November. So
okay,
for us, it's like this is working. You know, the
okay,
the we are getting the fruits of our hard work, and now we're we're gonna have an Olympian, and then we are hoping we get the result also. We're going to invest in his training, and then we're hoping to get good results. And then we're hoping more young guys will come and make Olympic teams, World Championship teams, break records. Is we are getting there slowly but surely. We're getting there.
wonderful. That's nice. We have been speaking for an hour or so, Hendrik. I know that you also have a busy schedule ahead, wanting to enjoy the weekend. But before we go, I just want to ask you one last question: is that what advice would you give to anybody who's going to be, who's aspiring to be someone, to be another Hendrik Ramaala? What advice would you give to all the athletes who want to do well in athletics and become another Hendrik Ramaala?
Uh, I have to say, talent is not everything. Hard work is everything. If you have the belief that and the passion to be the best, if you are really want to be the best, and then you are ready to work hard or at it, and then you think you can make it, you have that belief. I think you can start your journey. Come, train hard, train smart, get good advice, get an education, and you know, you will achieve. The sky is the limit. I always say everything is possible. It's all about believing in yourself and being ready to commit. Commitment is everything. If you commit yourself to a goal and you work hard on it and you sleep, you you will make it. That's my belief. When I came to the big city, like I said, I only had a dream. I didn't have money, I didn't have anything. I only had a dream. And then somehow I managed to achieve it with the help of others, of course, but with hard work, with a lot of sacrificing, uh, with a lot of committing and a lot of hard work and dedication. And you have to be focused on your dream. You mustn't let your dream go because of others. You've had
Okay.
it.
Wonderful. So it's been fantastic chatting with you, Hendrik, and so nice to hear your story. And it's amazing that to hear how you have come up, and it's a story of I think every athlete who has come up, well in their life. And I wish you the very best, and thanks for being the first person in 2021, first athlete in 2021 to address athletes of my nation, India. And I'm sure Bombay holds a special place in your heart. But I really thank you for coming in and sharing your experience. It's been amazing listening to you, and I'm sure it would have motivated all who are listening to you, and especially people from my country. So thanks for that.
I thank you very much, and I just want to take this moment to wish all the athletes out there, mostly in India. You know, we got so excited when we saw the New Delhi half marathon. One of your boys coming 10th in record time of 60:30. 1 hour, 1 hour, a guy breaking 61 minutes. We got so excited, and then now we're starting to believe that India is going somewhere, and we want to, personally, I want to encourage the young ones out there who have the dream of becoming some of the best athletes in the world to keep working hard, keep the dream alive, and push those boundaries. 60 minutes for half marathon, 27 minutes 10K, and 208 207 for marathons. I think it's possible. I think we you have a population of over a billion, so I think with some hard work with some hard work there is
Okay.
bound to be athletes who can make it in India. We get
Okay.
excited when you see a country like India, an Asian country, bringing a decent runner. And I want to say well done to that young man, and we wish you well. We wish Indian athletes well. We want to see them running in the circuit in Europe. We want to see them excelling in the circuit in America, in the road circuit, on the track circuit, cross
Okay.
country circuit. Yeah, we
Thank
wish
you
them
so much.
well. We wish you well, and
Thank you.
good luck with your program. Uh, we'll be following you. Hopefully, we'll see you here in South Africa, maybe for
I would
Comrades.
definitely want to come. Yes,
Yeah, and
I will
then
come.
Joburg, Zuleg is welcoming anybody who wants to come and train. Yeah, you
Okay.
have you have our contact. We
Yes.
we yeah we'll keep in touch.
Sure.
But I wish
Thank
you
you.
I wish you the best for 2021.
Thank you so much, Hendrik. Can I request to be in the studio? I will just thank my audience. I will come back in a few seconds for you.
Eh,
Okay. So thank you very much, all of you who have tuned in. It is fantastic to hear, a world champion medalist talking to us and addressing the athletes of our country. And next week we have got another athlete. I love South Africa because the next athlete is also from South Africa. She is a Comrades winner, and she is a 2:30 marathoner. Her name is Anne Ashworth, and I'm very proud and privileged to bring her to maybe for her first address in India, and looking forward to hearing you all. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you. All the best for 2021. This month is all international athletes and Olympic medalists we are bringing in for your inspiration and motivation. So thanks for coming in. Bye.